More like unlucky.
What is going on, man? I'm just trying to do a destination for my mission. Come on.
In a universe built on freedom, choice, and consequence, as the universe grows, so does the divide between its players. Some crave high stakes, no rules, all-out PvP. Others seek peace and an immersive PvE experience. And right now, these two worlds are colliding. The question is, can they coexist? Let's quantum down the rabbit hole. The Star Citizen community has been at a crossroads for years, locked in a long-running and often heated debate about what the game is supposed to be. Since I started playing, and even before that, this debate's never really gone away. It's becoming a dividing line in the community. On one side, you've got the PvPers who see conflict, unpredictability as essential to the game. On the other side, you've got PvEers, players who just want to do their own thing, explore, run missions, enjoy the game without getting thrown into fights they didn't ask for. So the real question is, can both sides coexist? Or is the divide only getting deeper? That question hit a boiling point in December 2024 when Pyro was released. Pyro wasn't designed to be safe. It was meant to be the Wild West, lawless, unpredictable, high risk, high reward. There were no safe zones, no security forces, and no crime stats system to hold players accountable. Every jump into Pyro felt like a gamble. If you listened closely, you could almost hear that inner voice, one that sounded a lot like Clint Eastwood whispering, "Do you feel lucky? Well, do ya, punk?" But not everyone was feeling lucky. Some players felt like they couldn't even take a moment to breathe, let alone to enjoy the system without always looking over their shoulder, worried if they'd be hunted down or wiped out by another player. Almost like Arnold and his team in Predator, stalked through the jungle, unsure where the next hit was coming from. And this was happening, even though Pyro was built to be unpredictable and dangerous by design. So with the tensions rising and Pyro pushing players to their limits, the divide wasn't just theory anymore, it was front and center. And depending on who you asked, that chaos was either the best thing to happen to Star Citizen or the worst. We have to start by recognizing one simple truth. PvP is the pulse that pumps life into the heart and soul of Star Citizen. Without it, the game starts to feel more like a single-player experience, and for that, we got Squadron 42, hopefully on the horizon. PvP isn't just some bolt-on feature. It's been part of the vision since the very beginning. When Chris Roberts first pitched Star Citizen in 2012, he made it clear this game was about simulating a living, breathing universe. Here's how he explained it. Star Citizen isn't just about flying ships or making money. It's about simulating a living universe. If you're trading near Earth, close to the heart of the UEE, you're operating in heavily patrolled secure space. It's safe from pirates and PvP, but that safety comes at a cost. Landing fees, tariffs, taxes, because infrastructure like that doesn't pay for itself. But if you want to avoid those costs, you can head out to the fringe, to places with little to no law. Out there are no taxes, but no protection either. You take on more risk, and with that comes the potential for greater reward. That's the balance. Risk versus reward. Security comes at a price, and freedom comes with danger. And by giving players those choices, we hope the universe will feel alive, shaped by the actions of the people in it, and not just the systems around them. This wasn't just a game. It was supposed to be a simulation of a galaxy, a place where conflict, tension, and choice are what drive the experience forward. And PvP? It's what brings the vision to life. PvP is essential because it brings high stakes and real consequences, but it also heightens the immersion. Not every encounter is going to be played out the same way, and that's the beauty of it. PvP forces players to adapt on the fly. You've got to think strategically, both offensively and defensively. Sometimes it's about weighing the risk. Is this fight worth it, or is it better to back off and play it safe? And it's not all dogfights and bounty hunting either. PvP can actually make you a better player, more aware, more patient, and more responsive. Because again, this isn't just some linear campaign. This is a space sim built to feel like a real place. And if we're being honest, real life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. PvEers should understand that just like in the real world, there are good people, and there are people who might test your boundaries. The same things apply in the verse. Not all PvPers are the same. Some players enjoy PvP because they want to help. They'll protect haulers, salvagers, miners. They'll respond when someone's in trouble. Others, sure, they might be in it for just the cheddar or just ruining your day. I've seen videos on YouTube where players have jumped in to help random haulers or miners who were just pleading for help in game chat, fighting off pirates or PvPers that were just causing constant trouble. Just helping out when it counts. That kind of thing, that's part of what makes Star Citizen feel different. And with dynamic economy on the horizon, I think we'll see even more of it. Security and protection won't just be nice to have. They'll start to matter. Because as the game grows, it won't just be about going solo or chasing your own goals. It'll be about how all of us fit into the bigger picture, and how our choices ripple across the verse. But here's the thing. That's just one side of the story. Because while PvP might bring risk, immersion, and consequence, for a lot of players it can also bring frustration, burnout, and a sense of being pushed out of the game entirely. So next, let's flip the lens and take a closer look at the PvE mindset. What are they really asking for? And is it possible their perspective is just as important to the future of Star Citizen? For a lot of PvEers, the problem isn't that Star Citizen has PvP. It's that sometimes it feels like you don't get a say in when or how you get dragged into it. You could be mid-mission hauling cargo, salvaging, exploring, completely focused on your objective, and then suddenly, boom, you're blindsided. It's like you're just minding your own business, and out of nowhere, someone shows up and lets loose. No warning, no reason. Most PvE players understand that getting taken out by a pirate or a bounty hunter is part of the game. That's fair. But getting blown up mid-haul by someone just looking for a target? That's where the frustration kicks in. For many PvEers, it's not just about wanting a risk-free experience. They just want control. The ability to opt in when they're ready to fight, or opt out when they're not in that mindset. Because when that choice is taken away, the game becomes less fun, and you start looking over your shoulder more than actually playing the game. That's when some PvE backers start to feel like CIG isn't really taking their experience into account. Immersion for PvEers hits differently. It's not about chaos, surprise encounters, or adrenaline-fueled dogfights. It's about mission flow, atmosphere, and the feeling of knowing what's ahead, of being in control of their journey. They like to come and go as they please, taking in the world at their own pace, slower, more deliberate, more about the moment. PvP players, on the other hand, their dopamine hit comes from tension, unpredictability, and risk, and that doesn't make either approach right or wrong. At the end of the day, it boils down to one thing: choice. Just like Morpheus kept on trying to tell Neo throughout the Matrix. Still, there's no denying that griefing and imbalance play a big role in PvE frustration. It's not just about getting attacked. Sometimes it's about feeling powerless to stop it. Getting blown up mid-mission by someone who wasn't pirating, wasn't defending territory, wasn't even on a bounty. They were just there looking to cause chaos. That's not risk, that's griefing. But here's the thing, it's hard to define griefing cleanly, and that's part of the problem. The problem is it's difficult to define griefing because you need to prove the intent is there. Players can attack each other for many reasons, but unless you can prove their intent is to cause grief, what's the point? They can lie and say it was for piracy, defending territory, fear. The griefing discussions will never have the black and white definitions people want. And that's where the frustration sinks in for a lot of PvEers. Not because they want a risk-free game, but because they want a fair one. One where they feel like they at least have a fighting chance, or the option to avoid unnecessary conflict. But just like with PvP, this isn't about one side being right or wrong. It's about the experience and how different players engage with the same game in completely different ways. Some want tension, others want immersion. Some thrive in chaos, others just want to finish their mission in peace. And maybe that's okay. The real question is whether PvP or PvE should define Star Citizen. It's whether both can truly coexist in a shared universe, without one constantly stepping on the toes of the other. Because when you strip it all down, what both sides really want is a game that feels alive, meaningful, and worth logging into every time they jump into the verse. I've been on both sides of this debate. I've kinda leaned into both early on. PvE missions gave me space to learn the basics, but PvP, that's where I started to feel the tension, the stakes, the unpredictability that makes every encounter hit differently. It made the experience literally fire on all cylinders, and that's pretty kick-ass. I've been hunted before, mid-mission or just exploring, minding my own business, and yeah, sometimes I get caught off guard thinking to myself, what the hell? Where did that person come from? But I've also been the one doing the hunting. Sometimes it's just instinct. I see someone and think, shoot first, ask questions later. Because in a game like this, you don't always get second chances. You've got to stay one step ahead, because while you're thinking through the situation, so is the other person on the other side. But I've also had those quieter encounters, both in flight and on foot, where we just paused. We looked at each other like two deers in the headlights. No shots fired, just a quick flash of the lights, and then the other person flashes back. Almost like saying, we good? Then one of us skirts off, or we both just mosey along the way like nothing happened. Not every interaction is good or bad. Sometimes it really just comes down to a flip of the coin, and whether you land on the right or wrong side of it. Despite all that, I still log in. Why, you may ask? Because I love the sense of exploration. Even though not everything is fully fleshed out for it yet, I still make the best of what the game does offer. I enjoy searching the unknowns, finding those moments that I feel like I'm discovering something for the first time. Star Citizen really isn't the same without the people I play it with. Shout out to Fuzz, Drac, and Moise, my brothers from another mother. It makes the universe feel more real, like your actions actually carry weight. Just like in life, there are consequences, but in here, you get to learn from your mistakes, without dealing with the kind of real-life fallout that you can't take back. Some may ask, do I think there's a perfect balance between PvP and PvE? Not really, because let's be honest, you're never going to make everyone happy. But I do think there's room for common ground, something that blends the best of both worlds. To get there though, ego and entitlement need to be left at the door. Both sides have to be willing to step outside of their comfort zones and see the bigger picture. That might sound idealistic, maybe even a little naive, but hey, we're building a universe here, and a little hope goes a long way. I've always felt that space stations should act as true neutral zones, like if someone attacks you while you're approaching or landing, there should be a defined proximity, say for example a 2,700 foot radius around the station. Cross that line and open fire, that station responds. Turrets activate and maybe 2 or 3 NPC ships get deployed to chase the attacker off. And if you're in a place like Pyro, I think the same principles could apply, but with a twist that fits the tone of that system. Maybe the local faction handles things differently, less about law and more about reputation, consequences, or bribes. Something that still keeps the danger high, but not the lawless to the point of chaos. And while we're on the topic of balance, here's something I strongly believe. Not everything in Star Citizen should be easily handed out or instantly achievable. Some things should require effort, risk, and real investment to earn. Because when you have to earn something, when it takes time, risk, and effort, it just hits different. That's what makes finding something feel rewarding, and it makes danger feel real. It's that tension that keeps the verse feeling alive. Take Hathor Station from the newest patch, for example. You've got Ninetales AI patrolling, a working comms array, hostile wildlife, environmental hazards, and even some light puzzles tucked in. That's a full-on PvE setup, but layered with the real chance of PvP. And it's not the same raid or instance mission, it's open world, wide open. You show up and from that point on, anything can happen. Could be NPCs, could be other players. Sometimes it's both, and you're caught in the middle before you even realize it. That kind of open-ended chaos, where everyone's role blurs and every encounter feels unscripted, is what gives Star Citizen its edge. And for some players, jumping in and taking shots at whoever's around, that's their gameplay loop. It's how they play. Now, it doesn't mean every player who opens fire is griefing. Sure, some might be, but others are just in it for the adrenaline, the challenge, the unpredictability. The truth is, PvP and PvE aren't enemies. They're part of the same machine. One brings the tension, the other brings the depth. And when they clash, that's when Star Citizen comes alive. Not just a game, but a living, breathing world where anything can happen. That unpredictability, that balance of risk and reward, that's what keeps us coming back. This is just my opinion, and honestly, it still applies to me. I've been playing since the summer of 2022, and I'm still learning. Because in this game, you're always discovering something new, whether by accident or thanks to your friendly neighborhood citizen. Some of you might get that reference. But here's the thing, Star Citizen has a learning curve, and I think players should take the time to really understand it, especially when it comes to flying and fighting. Knowing your ship, how it moves, how your weapons land, how shields hold under pressure, and down the line, how power management can turn the tide of a fight. That's not just fluff, that's survival. Because when things go sideways, and they will, it's that kind of knowledge that turns chaos into control. So now that you've heard both sides, and my take on it, let me know where you land. Are you more about that PvE vibe? Or do you think the chaos and tension of PvP is what gives Star Citizen its edge? Or maybe you're somewhere in between, like me, someone who enjoys adapting on the fly, taking things as they come, just like in real life, writing your own story, one encounter at a time. Drop your thoughts down below. I'm genuinely curious where everyone stands. And hey, if you enjoyed this and you want to see more down the line, feel free to stick around. No pressure. I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse. Badger, out.